News Hub here at Adesa Wikanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And my name is Pa Kwesiasari. Coming up in the next 60 minutes.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint
and Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
One person has been feared dead after another building collapsed at Kaswa in the central region.
Minority threatens boycott of parliamentary proceedings when any of 3 NDC MPs appear in court hearings.
Also in the bulletin tonight, 2 persons sentenced to 12 years in prison for their involvement in the murder of a 19-year-old Ekia Dente at Kafaba in the Savannah region over witchcraft accusations.
Also tonight, National Food Suppliers Association demands government debt repayment of 270 million cedis after picketing at National Buffer Stock Company.
Later in business tonight, economist Professor Lord Mensah encourages bank shareholders to sacrifice their dividends following the Bank of Ghana's directive for non-payment due to effects of the DDEP. Meanwhile, rural banks fear shareholders are unwilling to re-inject capital.
On the international front, Taliban orders Afghanistan's hair and beauty salons to shut down a new set of female restrictions.
We've got details of all these stories, plus many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. You can join us with your views, comments, and suggestions on any of our top stories this hour. Feel free to visit any of our social media pages on Facebook and on Twitter.
The news now in detail, and 1 person is feared dead and 3 others injured after another building collapsed at Kaswa Amanfo near Accra Tuesday afternoon. At the time of the collapse of the property said to be a health facility, some staff of the facility, including the proprietor, were busy at work when colleague Godwin Asidiba was at the scene.
Here at the Restoration Health Birth Care Center in Gas South, an unfortunate incident happened here after a heavy downpour, which lasted for about 2 hours, weakened this portion of the clinic. We were told 4 people, including the owner of the facility, were seated under this 1-story building structure. Now, after the rain, the building collapsed on them. They were stuck under the debris for hours before a team from the Ghana National Fire Service and the police service came in to rescue them. Unfortunately, the owner of the facility, who was brought out from this part of the building, has been pronounced dead. But the remaining 4 are currently in a critical condition, and they have been rushed to the hospital by a team from the Ghana National Fire Service and the police service as well. Residents here are shocked. They are down in the dumps because they are still trying to come to terms with the fact that this rather unfortunate incident has happened here, and they are hoping that those who have been rushed to the hospital will come out strong.
Now crossover live to Kaswa Amanfo, where the incident occurred, and Godwin Asidiba joins me. Godwin, thank you so much for your time. What is currently ongoing at the property?
Thank you, Portia. Really heartbreaking, as I indicated earlier. The residents are still here. The nurse who actually owns this portion of the health facility that caved in was told to be someone who has been of very much help to the people in this community, which is popularly known as Assemblies in Gasau. From the other end, because of the incident, you can't really see well, and it has taking the power out of this place, but that is actually where the health center is. That portion of the building is not a story building structure, so it is still there, really strong and functional as well. At the moment, the family members are not in the facility, so we haven't been able to speak to them. But according to the eyewitnesses that we engaged earlier, they told us that right after the rain, they heard a noise around the area, and when they rushed here, they saw that the building had collapsed on the 5 people who were stuck under the debris. It took benevolence from the community to come in and to start rescuing them before a team from NADMO, the Ghana National Fire Service, and the police came in hours after the incident had happened. An excavator was also brought to this part of the structure. When you come to this particular side, you see that a deep hole has been dug in here, and that is exactly where the owner of the facility, who happens to be the nurse, was stuck in. It took some hours for the excavator to dig down to the roots of the concrete where the woman was stuck there, with blood oozing from her nose, and she was rescued. But unfortunately, according to the eyewitnesses here, she was pronounced dead. But the remaining 4 who were brought out from this part of the structure, there's this space here, they were stuck in here. So fortunate for them, 4 of them were all brought out from this area, including a 4-year-old boy, an 18-year-old apprentice to the owner of the facility, another 2 women who had come here to seek medical help. Now, an eyewitness, Yao Constant, who helped in rescuing them, has been here and I've been engaging him earlier, and he told me that it wasn't an easy task because they began together with some residents before the NADMO team, the Ghana National Fire Service, and the police team came in to help. So he's here to give me much details, but he will be speaking in Chi, then I translate later. Until now, said the important is here.
Okay. Nami free. Ekumba ya sana miti asemunuo.
Yeah.
Kwan so by say VAC or my minutes one. Kimidi America by.
Mauninya dinka kama.
Enti medu aha na me hu say nkrofo bebre wo ha no so edan no ebugu what mama minutes ni nkrofo so. Enti ye kan so aka omo ayi dipa 2 aka 3 wo under. Enti ye ba no say na ye be ya ansa na ye be enhu dipa no na ye ya ansa na ye start 82 aha. Enti ye 2 aha enhu na enhu say nurse no ba ko no the girl no ba ko wo aha. Okay,
Beba. So what he is trying to say is that when the incident happened and they came here, they were trying to locate where the people were seated. They had to start from another part of the building where they couldn't find them. They rushed to this particular area where the apprentice was, together with a 4-year-old boy who was brought out from here.
Enti ye say to drag her out.
Yeah.
So you have to dig under again before we can get access and what. So after dragging her out, and then you see that the small girl to jump.
Okay.
And then we took them to the police.
How was their state? Were they feeling okay?
Okay, for the girl, it's not briefing or whatever.
Yeah.
So before we give to the police people, and then when the girl jumped, and then I had it before we release it to the police people.
So it means she was struggling under the debris for you to rescue her.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us. And that's Yao Constant here, an eyewitness who helped in bringing those who were stuck at this part.
All right, thank you so much, Godwin Asidiba, giving us live updates from Kaso Amanfo after the building collapse, where 1 person has been confirmed dead and 3 others injured and in critical condition.
A pretty sad story, the Portia. Let's go to Parliament now, where government business may face difficulties due to minority MPs' decision to avoid parliamentary duties in support of 3 NDC MPs facing criminal charges. The minority leader, Dr. Kaisel Atuforsen, made this known in Parliament after the swearing-in of James Gyakye Quayson as Member of Parliament for Assin North. Here's a report by my colleague Komla Kluche.
Before the start of proceedings on Tuesday, July 4, the NDC MPs, party functionaries stormed the legislature in anticipation of a day they chose to celebrate the resounding victory of James Gyakye Quayson. Moments thereafter, former head of state John Dramani Mahama entered the legislature, a place he once served as an MP, to exchange the pleasantries with his NDC compatriots. Amidst cheers, applause, the NDC MPs and party supporters went agog. Moments the speaker asked James Gyakye Quayson to enter the house and be sworn in.
Quayson, having been elected a member of parliament, do in the name of the Almighty God swear Do in the name of the Almighty God swear. That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
The oath of allegiance and oath of office as an MP were both administered
I will
to him.
faithfully and so help me God. So help me God.
As James Jachikweson commences his work fully as an MP, the minority has served notice of non-cooperation so long as their members are dragged to the court on a daily basis.
Mr. Speaker, we are solidarizing with our colleague and we will not participate in the business of the House anytime our colleague is in court, and we will be withdrawing from the chamber after this ceremony if the court processes indeed happens today. Mr. Speaker, amid persecution, cooperation will certainly suffer. Mr. Speaker, a word to a wise is in assent not.
But on the part of the majority leader, Oseche Mensah Bonsu, he took on what he termed selective complaints from the NDC MPs, further asking all MPs to show camaraderie with James Jachikweson.
The NDC want to believe that this is a peak victory that would hurt the pride of the MPP, as the minority leader has alluded to. Of course, on the other hand, we, the parliamentary group of the MPP, also believe that this is a momentary victory of phantasmal character that certainly may not last. But, Mr. Speaker, that is the choice of the people of Assin North. And everybody must respect that whilst it lasts. The rest of it is in the hands of the Attorney General. Mr. Speaker, the rest of it, as we move from here, is in the hands of the Attorney General. Whilst he remains here, we can only embrace him as a member of Parliament, welcome him here to be a part of the fraternity whilst it lasts.
Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Parliament House, Accra.
The Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Rahman, says the decision of the minority would not augur well for Ghana's democratic progress and has called for an amicable resolution of the matter through the leadership of Parliament.
Whether the minority has maybe tried the strategy of getting the leadership of the House to sit together and look at this matter very carefully before embarking on this strategy that they announced today. You know, there is something we call a responsible opposition, and an opposition that is waiting in the wings to form a government. You know, in some countries, we have some parties that are permanently in opposition. They don't have any chance of forming a government. Those can act maybe in a way that might be construed as irresponsible. But a party that has a chance of forming the next government, you know, has to be careful in terms of the actions that it takes. You know, they have to show up in the House. They have to participate in the business of the House. They have to show us alternatives. Otherwise, in the end, the ruling party might be blamed for maybe some of the challenges that our country would face. But I think they would also be blamed by the voters for the fact that they decided to consistently boycott parliamentary proceedings. In other words, they decided not to show up to work, not to show up to hold the government to account. So I would say perhaps maybe a better strategy might be to try and see through the leadership of the House to see whether maybe, consensus might work this time. I know we've tried over and over in this 8th Parliament, and consensus seems to be eluding everybody. But a strategy that would take all of them away from the House might also be one that might be a little bit dangerous.
Meanwhile, there is growing pressure for the Attorney General to drop the criminal trial against Asin North MP James Gyakye Quayson. Despite the AG's warning to avoid such unjustified comments, more people keep suggesting that the AG should consider public sentiment and discontinue the case.
Legal discussions surrounding James Gyakye Quayson's trial continue, with various interpretations and opinions describing selective justice. The Attorney General, Godfred Dame, has criticized some commentaries as unwarranted, prejudicial and orchestrated. He claims these comments put pressure on court and interfere with state prosecutors' work. Traditional leaders of Asin North have appealed to the president to terminate the prosecution, citing the lack of representation in the past 3 years.
na emedi enu kan emeye MP maye yesre omampani ni Attorney General say sa ensemu ya ekoso nyina no yesre omampani se oma ni entwam na yato abaye wie ye nyina yenya baako yenya nkabom na yemfemu oman no.
We plead with the president to intervene to end the trial because our development as people of Asin North has suffered due to the court case. We have already chosen him to lead us, so we need to put the past behind us.
For a former Attorney General, Ayukwe Otu, it will be politically prudent for the Attorney General to enter a noli prosequi to end the case. For now, the MP will continue appearing in court regardless of his status as a lawmaker. Christian Yali, TV3 News.
Away from Parliament, the New Patriotic Party today continued with its vetting of flag-bearer aspirants as 3-time flag-bearer hopeful Kwabena Agyapong, 2-time aspirant Boakye Jarko, and new contender Kennedy Agyapong took their turns to face the vetting committee. Day 2 was routine as 2 of the candidates, Boakye Jarko and Kennedy Agyapong, declined speaking with the media in what looks like a directive from the committee.
This is how day 2 of the MPP's vetting of flag-bearer aspirants turned out. First to arrive at the party's election office was the former Energy Minister, Boakye Jarko. The former Energy Minister, who is not new to this process of vetting, exited the elections office, declining to speak with the media.
Just one word from you. An expectation from you, and whether your expectations were met.
No, but just that. No. When you meet, you don't come as a man. This is even beyond check-up.
The information we're picking is that this was a directive from the vetting committee that the aspirants do not engage the media. Then came the former General Secretary of the party, a serial contender for the flag-bearership position. Again, taking a shot at the top job he had to face, the vetting committee.
This is the 3rd time I'm doing vetting. 2007, 2014. So it's something that is pretty normal for me. So everything went smooth.
The former General Secretary of the NPP, Kwabena Agyapong, addressed the media, seeming to contradict earlier information picked that the aspirant should not engage the media. He emphasized the need for a level playing field.
When you have an even-handed process and it produces a leader, it facilitates unity amongst us. If we are a cohesive unit, we are united, and we have a decent, fair process, and then the chances that we can really win in 2024 gets enhanced.
Then came the maverick Kennedy Agyapong, the Member of Parliament for Asin Central, whose entrance at the party's elections office was flamboyant. Well, the media waited in anticipation for an address from the lawmaker, but that did not happen. Kennedy Agyapong, while exiting the vetting committee, seemed downcast. However, he afforded a smile at the end. Well, we'll wait to see what Wednesday, July 5 will offer as serial contenders such as Dr. Kofi Konadu-Apreku and Jogati take their turn to face the vetting committee, as well as a newbie, Dr. Afriye Akuto. Noble Crosby Annan, NPP Elections Office, Kokomemle, Accra.
Still in the camp of the New Patriotic Party, former Trades and Industry Minister and NPP presidential aspirant Alan Kyerematen says he's the only one who can break the eight, urging delegates not to be intimidated by their choice of candidates. Now addressing delegates in parts of the Greater Accra region, he noted that Ghana would not have sought an IMF bailout if all his ideas had been implemented. Joseph Armstrong joined his campaign team on the tour.
Alan Kyerematen with his team first visited the Ablekuma West constituency, where some other constituency delegates had converged to welcome him.
You need a person that you will select to put in the minimum effort with the minimum cost. You don't need to select a candidate which of course may lead you to become a winner, but through a very difficult journey. You need a candidate that you put in a little effort with a minimum cost. And I think among all the candidates, I have identified myself with Honorable Alan Kyerematen.
Alan Kyerematen charged the delegates not to allow themselves to be intimidated. He explained why it will be a mistake not to vote him.
National Executive Committee, National Council, the company for Akasese, who you could form a cook for the movie. Now the company for Alan Kyerematen Akasese.
A reminder, you're still watching News 360. This is our major news bulletin for the day. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. I'm sure you're interested in our top stories this hour. Just feel free to go to our Facebook page or Instagram page and post a comment. Now, the Tamale High Court has convicted Hajia Mohammed Serena and Latifa Bomaye to 12 years imprisonment with hard labor. The two were found guilty for a murder of 90-year-old woman Equia Dente at Kafaba in the Savannah region on Thursday, July 23, over witchcraft accusations. Let's now go live to Zoom and speak to Lamnatu Adam, who is Executive Director for the Northern-based human rights group, Songtab Bafo. I hope I got the name right, madam. Thank you very much for joining us here on News 360. It's been 3 years coming. You and other rights have been pushing for a conviction. Would you say justice has now been served?
Yes, hello. I think that it's straightforward. Although it's been delayed, but it's been served. We human rights defenders, women's rights activists are quite impressed with this ruling.
What's the next step going forward on this matter? What steps do you want to take on this matter?
For me, I think that this is just one aspect that we need to encourage, but then also we still need to work with communities to strengthen protection mechanism, at the community level. and we need to work closely with the traditional authority towards women and underserved population protection. Because if you look at Madam Ekwe-Adente's case, the whole community stood by and watched this happen. But beyond Madam Ekwe-Adente's case, there have been several witchcraft accusations.
Absolutely. And my next question was going to be that even as Ekwe-Adente's killers were being tried in court, we know that 2 other persons were lynched in Mion somewhere around May this year over witchcraft accusations. Do you think this conviction will be enough deterrent to others?
Well, it may not be enough entirely, but then it's a step in the right direction. Once people know that their actions are going to be questioned in the law court, I'm sure that it's going to deter them. But like I mentioned, beyond this, we need to also push for the bill, you know, on witchcraft, bill that is criminalizing witchcraft, which the Anti-Witchcraft Coalition members are pushing for, to better emphasize on the need to criminalize witchcraft accusation. And like I mentioned, beyond that, we need to work around practice change about how deep-seated cultural issues are affecting the human rights of people.
Alamnatu Adams, it's Executive Director of Sanctaba. Thank you very much for your time, Madam. We really do appreciate you joining us here on News 360.
In more news tonight, members of the National Food Suppliers Association have carried out their earlier threats of picketing at the National Food Buffer Stock Company over their 2-year debts. For them, all reasonable means to retrieve 270 million cedis owed them by government have been unsuccessful. George Queenan reports.
8-year-old Bertha Amegan has been supplying food items including maize, beans, gari, millet, granite, flour and cooking oil to senior high schools in the Volta region since 1998. Throughout her career, she witnessed a shift from no tendering before school supply to adopting tendering in schools. She is owed over 10 million cedis for a job with a reputation for prompt supply.
Me supply bibia o, me webe so bibia wo ho. Bibia wo me webe so me supply my schools. Enya hia. Bebia mefa bia mefa na makope ama omo. Enti Volta region school bia ni ho a me webe ni ho.
Her creditors, some of who are in Togo, are pursuing her.
Interest no aye butu so ma me say e was a mentia interest be say was a mentia interest no so awa aye be say 6 million e was so answer sika no ebi so obi die na media abomu answer na media adwuma no nti e yakono so ordinary pressure to me so nti say disika no ma me a me kotua bank die no wi a o yakono so na me de ni die nka ya ma no na say meka man kasa meka ho sa akura na da efie no me de no be hai me didi kakra kakra kamu ya adwuma afie nti amoka aka ho na be kwa adwuma
Bertha Amegan is among 300 members of the National Food Suppliers Association who are picketing at the National Food Buffer Stock Company over their 2-year debts. Government owes them 270 million cedis.
We want our money and we want it now. We cannot afford to go back to our homes because we see there's so much comfort in this house than our house. Creditors are on us, they are in our houses. They are on next to take their monies from us. So we are not going back to our homes. We are going to be here. If we don't have our monies paid, we are going to join them to work here. We will wake up with them. We will sleep with them. We will be here till our money is paid to us.
The complaint about life becoming unbearable with eroded working capital and feeling helpless.
Members came in prepared. As you can see, some of their wares ready to spend the night here until they get some commitment from government. Some are coming from as far as Bogatanga, Wa and Sunyani. They cannot afford to sleep in hotels. The reason they want to spend the night here.
The association claims no equity in payment disbursement over years.
Those foodstuffs we supply, we take them on credit on the promises that we are going to get paid in 60 days as per the contract stipulated on our contract between the Buffer Stock and the various companies here put together as a National Food Suppliers Association. We are really struggling. 2 of our members are dead as a result of the emotional trauma that this membership go through.
According to the association, per the engagement with the Education Ministry, they were made aware that 90% of the monies were paid to the National Food Buffer Stock Company. The CEO, of course, is yet to react to this. We are waiting to see whether or not some commitment will be made to these suppliers. George Quinn, TV3 News, Accra.
You're watching News 360 live from the News Hub here at Adesa Wikanda. We have business news coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo Superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
SoftCare. Protect your leap.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
Extra work, I dare for you. Extra work deserves extra taste. Tasty dear. Plus, we've added extra crackers in each bag. Royal King Cracker. Take choke your hunger.
This advert is FDA approved.
There are some moments that last forever because they happen only once. Like your very first day, your first day of school, your first successful bike ride. What's your child's next milestone? Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture is here to ensure they smile through it all. Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture has been keeping children smiling for more than a decade by relieving them from gastric pain, flatulence, minor digestive upset, and teething discomfort. Now, Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture. Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture is manufactured and distributed by Ernest Chemists Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
When you're little, days are extremely busy. Work, traffic jams, meetings, conference calls. Luckily, our mom is here to take good care of us with Day by Day Baby and Day by Day Kids and their naturally active ingredients. Our skin is hydrated, soothed, and protected all day long. Yes, hello?
The business segment is brought to you by MTN, Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
Good evening and welcome to the very latest in the world of business. Now, economist at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Lord Mensah, says bank shareholders should willingly sacrifice their dividends so that their banks can survive the difficult times. After government's domestic debt exchange program, banks suffered huge losses as investments were concentrated in bonds. Now, as part of the debt exchange program, the Bank of Ghana issued a directive for the non-payment of dividends to shareholders, and this, some rural banks have complained, is having dire impact on the survival of their banks due to the reluctance of shareholders to reinvest.
For me, it's a sacrifice that they must make for now, and then looking at long term, they're going to benefit on that. So I would say that, be it local bank or foreign bank, they should go ahead. It's a form of recapitalization. And if you recapitalize the bank using your own dividend, and it turns out that the bank becomes stable and the trust, build up, you start recording streams of profit, which will go in your own, which will be good for the shareholders in the long term. So for me, they should be able to sacrifice.
Elsewhere, the Institute of Energy Security has revealed that natural gas supply from the West African Gas Pipeline Company Limited to Ghana has been restored. This comes after an earlier suspension of gas transportation services to the Ghana National Petroleum Authority over a debt of almost $14 million. Speaking to 3 Business, the Executive Director of IES, Nana Mwesi, the 7th, stressed the need for the government to address such concerns to ensure constant power supply in the country.
Presently, the IES can confirm that flow of natural gas from Nigeria has been restored after the interruption on the back of debt owed the end gas by government. But then if the situation persists and it keep on occurring, it comes to threaten our energy security. We are just coming on the back of one threat from the IPPs, and now the next thing is that we've had gas supply from Nigeria cut. If it does happen again and is sustained, then of course we are going to lose part of our capacity. And remember, plants like Asogli are more reliant on end gas than from the West. And so anytime gas supply is cut, it means that our power and the energy security is threatened. Government must ensure that we don't go back to such a situation again.
Government has been encouraged to create an enabling environment for the private sector to increase its employment portfolio following the International Monetary Fund conditionalities. The fund program has come with some policy imperatives, including a freeze on public sector employment. Speaking at the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Dialogue Series held in Accra, economist and director of ESA, Professor Peter Quartey, said there's a need for government to empower private businesses to avert a looming employment crisis.
The tightening employment, as we saw in the program, to government employment. But if the private sector is flourishing, it will absorb the labor force. Unfortunately, we are having this tax increases and all that. But I believe if we are able to come out of this, then the private sector should be able to expand to accommodate some of these job losses or labor force. But that will require strategic decisions or policies from government to support the private sector. Otherwise, that growth cannot be performed very well. It is usually the private sector.
Now, Rana Motors has launched its all-new family Kia Carens in Accra. The latest edition offers a class-leading cabin space with +3-row sitting comfort in the 7-seater family multi-purpose vehicle.
Designed with bold attitude and age sophistication to offer experience from a different world, the Kia Carens is futuristic with many class-leading features.
It's one of the first family cars, 7-seater that we have launched, which is affordable and also filled with a lot of options of convenience and of safety. It's a fun car. It's a family car. It's filled with good convenience features for the day-to-day of the family and of the driver, and at the same time it's filled with a lot of safety features that are very important for a family vehicle.
The Carens has bigger exterior dimensions to give it stronger road presence and a 2,780mm long wheelbase to make it more stable at higher speed and a better legroom in the back seat, making it ideal for family adventure.
Since the past 3 years, I've been looking for a vehicle with very reasonable fuel consumption, and with the 1.5 liter vehicle and 7-seater, I think this is the type that I would prefer for the family.
Rana Motors, with 5 branches across the country, is the authorized distributor for Kia Motors in Ghana since 1986. It is also the official distributor of Jeep, Fiat, Ashok Leyland and other brands.
And that's it for the very latest in the world of business. For more news, you can log on to our website, www.3news.com.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
Pepsodent introduces charcoal and lemon essence. The unique combination of natural essences whitens teeth naturally for you and family, because every smile matters.
New Pepsodent Herbal. Introducing a unique combination of herbal extracts in an antibacterial toothpaste for strong teeth and healthy gums that protects your family and you. Every smile matters.
Gasem, with over 50 years of experience, has various grades for various jobs. The Gasem Extra 42.5N is suitable for ultra-high strength structural application like bridges, dams and high-rise buildings. The Gasem Super Strong 42.5R was made for high structural applications like precast concrete and block manufacturing. The Gasem Super Rapid 32.5R is here for normal building foundations like strip foundation and other ordinary concrete works. The Gasem Super Cool 32.5N is best for all block laying, tiling and other mortar works. Never believe that one grade of cement can be used for all jobs. Choose Gasem Cement always. Gasem, 4 cement grades, excellent customer value. Gasem, the nation builder.
Water is life. Water gives life. Water moves through nature in a never-ending cycle. Observe the beauty of water as it flows all around us, refreshing and restoring. Gaze in wonder at the stillness and beauty of nature. There's harmony in nature everywhere around. Water revitalizes the body and keeps you going strong. Water is life. Water gives life. Drink Awake Purified Drinking Water. One for life. So relax and unwind, and in the calmness of nature, find the rest you desire. For every bottle of Awake you buy, an amount to be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is said here.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long, offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
Soft Care. Protect your leap.
Sports segment is brought to you by
Gentleman Cosmetic Range,
Bell Pack Tissues.
Hello, it's time for us to bring you the latest in the world of sports. With me, Theo Inyana. We're beginning in Kumasi, where Asante Kotoko have taken drastic action following a disappointing season as they failed to win any trophies. The club patron, Asante Hene Otumfo Nana Ose Tutu II, has ordered the dissolution of both the board and management, bringing an end to their 3-year stint. There's more in this report.
In 2020, the board, led by Dr. Kwame Che, was established with Nana Yawan-Ponsa appointed CEO. The first 2 years were successful, with the Kumasi-based side winning the Ghana Premier League title, but last season, they could only manage a 4th place finish, missing out on Africa. How will the structure of the club look like next season?
From what we have heard, is that Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be moving with an executive chairman, not necessarily with a board. So the executive chairman will come in, appoint his own CEO or even management team or former management team. Then they are actually going to appoint the next coach for the club. But I feel as it stands, Kumasi Asante Kotoko have nothing to do with any ex-management member or even ex-board member. They're actually supposed to leave. None of them is going to take part in the new regime of the club.
Fans will anticipate a quick and positive turnaround from the playing body next season, with a shot against the best in the continent being the ultimate goal. However, the management style of the 2-time CAF Champions League winners has been called into question. In the next few weeks, a new era will begin. The pressure will be high. Will they deliver historic success to Kotoko? Only time will tell.
We'll bring you more subsequently on Kumasi Asante Kotoko, but what's happening abroad, especially in the off-season, has been major transfers. And we have a report on today's happenings.
Nathan Collins has joined Brentford from Wolverhampton Wanderers for a club record fee of £23 million. Collins signed a 6-year deal with an option for an additional 2 years. Chagla Soyuncu has arrived in Madrid to complete his move to Atletico Madrid as a free agent. The Turkish defender has signed a deal with the Spanish side until June 2027. Manor Solomon's move to Tottenham Hotspur is expected to be completed by the end of the week. The former Fulham winger is expected to have a medical on Thursday before joining the London-based club on a free transfer. Villarreal is finally set to announce Ben Brereton Diaz as a new signing on a free transfer. The deal was completed all the way back in January, and he is now set to be unveiled this week. Brighton has already established contacts with Calvin Bassey as a new centre-back. The Seagulls are in the market for a replacement for Levi Colwill, who returned to Chelsea after his loan last season. Manchester City is expected to sell goalkeeper James Trafford to Burnley for a fee of around £14 million, plus £5 million add-on and a 20% sell-on clause included. AC Milan has confirmed Ruben Loftus-Cheek has chosen the number 8 jersey following Sandro Tonali's move to Newcastle. The Rossoneri announced the signing of the English midfielder, who they signed for a reported £14 million from Chelsea.
Now, still on transfers, Mason Mount has delivered an emotional farewell to Chelsea fans ahead of his incoming £60 million move to Manchester United. The 24-year-old midfielder, who completed his medical at Carrington earlier on Monday, will sign a 5-year deal at Old Trafford worth a reported £250,000.
Given the speculation over the last 6 months, this may not come as a surprise to you. But it doesn't make it any easier to tell you that I've made the decision to leave Chelsea. I feel you deserve more than just a written statement, so I wanted to tell you directly how grateful I've been for all of your support over the last 18 years. I know some of you won't be happy with my decision, but but it's what's right for me at this moment in my career. I joined Chelsea when I was 6 years old, and we've been through a lot together. Winning the Youth Cup, my Player of the Year awards, the Super Cup, the Club World Cup, and of course the unforgettable night when we won the Champions League. I want to say thank you to the Academy, Jim and Neil, for being so influential to me from such a young age. The managers I've worked under, Frank, Thomas and Graham. The backroom staff, the unsung heroes of Cobham. All of my teammates over the years that have become my brothers, my family, for the continuous love and support.
All right, now away from football, that's a rather emotional one. Let's do, some, smashing sports. I'm talking tennis. And Spain's world number one, Carlos Alcaraz, gained a comfortable first-round win against Jeremy Chardy, who played the final stages match of his career. And Alcaraz, the reigning US Open champion, needed less than 2 hours to secure a 6-love, 6-2, 7-5 victory on court 1. And on that note, we bring an end to the sports here on News 360. My name is Theo Inyan, and that'll be all for the sports. Up next will be entertainment.
Day nema bema ya abrantipa senia nyama ehuhia ahobambonti ehyenuma no tokoso senia odwen nema hokonkan eye ahotoso a owo ewo gidie mu utumiti no nokredi ho pampan efri echire Yeda Abrantipa Gentleman Cosmetics Hunya Medi Yawo activated charcoal shower gel, body lotion, eduham perfume. Iwia se hiya Abrantipa bra beye mubako ye Abrantipa.
Many people think I get whatever I want because I'm a popular actress. But no, that is not true. Me Alcasano, Adebia mi yebiano, me shishimpe papano. And when I find it, I stick to it. My shishimenya Bell Pack tissues. Bell Pack ewe tea roll. Bell Pack tea roll. Soft, but not weak. Strong, but not hard. It is smooth. Me yusua, me hotome. It's just perfect. Same as the kitchen towel. What about what? What me the papaye? What me soki? Echimu esa pepa. One Bell Pack kitchen towel lasts longer and saves you money. It's time you switch to Bell Pack today. Say your pocket tissue, table napkin, tea roll, and a kitchen towel. Bell Pack is simply the best. It's just perfect.
Nothing feels so good like Bell Pack.
Mami Musa was same yansa. Mo networks are mo use no. Embrahin and I'm recharge ya. Mo nyamfa so everyone so. Ah, mabwa, kapre. Wait. And that's what you want. Muntian kaibo ditui. Vodafone say every Saturday a brevia over recharge from 5 cities Ecobiano. Assigned with seeking up to 20% amount back cash. Our Vodafone cash so. It shock you? What did you hear say? Over recharge. Say my Vodafone app. Vodafone cash. Credit transfer. Short code. Emubia. Radia.
Top up your airtime with 5 Ghana Cedi or more in Vodafone's double promotion and receive up to 20% of your money back straight into your Vodafone cash wallet. Recharge and cash out in the Vodafone double promotion.
Vodafone, further together.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water and powered by 3 Entertainment.
Welcome to the Entertainment News segment. My name is Anita Ikuya Ikufu, and the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, which is a significant tourist site in Ghana, has been redeveloped and open to the general public today. And here's what to expect when you visit the edifice.
The Kwame
Nkrumah Memorial Park is a significant monument dedicated to the memory of Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. It also serves as a resting place for his mortal remains and that of his wife, Fatia Nkrumah. Located on the former British Columbia Polo Grounds in Accra, where Ghana's independence was declared, the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park has become a popular attraction site since its establishment in 1992. The premises has on display objects from various stages of his life. Subsequently, it fell off due to lack of constant renovation of the facility. For you as a visitor in Ghana, these are what you are likely to see when you visit the newly developed and expanded Kwame Nkrumah Museum. With these renovations, the park is poised to create jobs and boost the country's travel and tourism trade. The Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park will be opened until 9 p.m. each day and rented out to event organizers to host performances. Well, behind me is a quote by the late first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and it says, "I am not African because I was born in Africa, but because Africa was born in me."
And now let's take you to Hollywood, where filmmaker and business coach Angela White has called for tax waivers, support from government, and other incentives to attract international film productions to Ghana. And speaking at a recently held Essence Film Festival in New Orleans, the TV producer expressed her disappointment in the Ghanaian government for not supporting her when she attempted to invest in the country.
President, we dealt with everybody who's in charge. Last year, we had dealt with every aspect of government last year and trying to get support for a company being American, coming in, bringing in tons of business.
She revealed her decision to move her next film project from Ghana following the challenges she and her team had to face while shooting and investing in the country.
We need help in the form of housing, we need to form discounts for rentals and transportation. We need the country to work with us, and this became a really big battle that Chris and I were on the front lines with. And for me to go back to Ghana, that conversation has to happen again.
The feature project 9 employed a crew of over 120 individuals and featured a stellar cast of more than 50 actors.
Our crew was over 120 people. Our cast was over 50 people. We had hotels, Airbnbs, everything. I brought a lot of revenue to Ghana, and the reason why my next project will probably be South Africa is because I got nowhere with the Ghanaian government. It really became a battle, and so I'm happy to see Idris take this fight, because if they don't start getting country credits, everybody's familiar with like tax credits, country credits, the work's going to go to South Africa.
And that'll be all for the entertainment news segment. My name is Anita Ekufu. Up next is international news. Good evening.
The Taliban have ordered hair and beauty salons in Afghanistan to shut in the latest restriction faced by women. A Vice and Virtue Ministry spokesman told the BBC businesses had 1 month to comply, starting from July 2, when they were first informed of the move. Women's freedoms have steadily shrunk since the Taliban seized power in 2021. They have barred teenage girls and women from classrooms, gyms and parks, and most recently even banned them from working for the United Nations. The Taliban have also decreed that women should be dressed in a way that only reveals their eyes and must be accompanied by a male relative if they are traveling more than 72 kilometers. The restrictions have continued despite international condemnation and protests by women as well as activists speaking up on their behalf.
Well, that's it for News 360. Before we go, remember to brush your teeth before you go to bed this evening and tomorrow morning when you wake up from bed with either Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, Pepsodent Charcoal, Pepsodent Herbal, or Pepsodent Triple Protection. Because with Pepsodent, Portia, every smile matters. That's how we end the news.
For more news updates, do log on to our website, 3news.com. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Pakusi Asari.